You're watching Cover to Cover, our guide to the Sikh and Punjabi books that you need to read. This week we're taking a look at Reflections on 1984 by Harjinder Singh. This book was published in 2014 by the UK-based publishing house Akal Publishers. The subject matter revolves around the events that took place in the Punjab in 1984, but it provides a great amount of context, the preamble, and of course the post-1984 period in the Punjab too. The author Harjinder Singh is a well-known UK-based pracharak and researcher, particularly into the events that took place around 1984 and for Sikhs in the Punjab to this day. The book has over 150 pages of thoroughly researched, diligent, comprehensive details about the invasion of Darbar Sahib in June itself, but also the preamble leading up to it and everything that took place afterwards. Akal Publishers is a niche entity based here in the United Kingdom, publishing material mainly through digital media that relates to the Sikh experience and specific elements of Sikh history and current affairs. This is one of the few publications that went to print, and it's the kind of book that has been long overdue for an introduction on Cover to Cover. So let's take a closer look. The book is available in this soft cover edition and has 11 chapters preceded by a preface from the author himself, followed by a number of appendices and acknowledgements and a selected bibliography. But we'll look a little bit more at those later on. The body of the book is quite straightforward. Now, this book is intended, according to the author, to be an objective and independent look at the events of 1984 for any person, whether they are Sikh or non-Sikh. And to a certain degree, it actually achieves that aim because everything is referenced. Some of these references point to online sources, some of them to reports and journals and articles, newspapers, and then of course also to other published works in the forms of books. But it's the way in which Harjinder Singh presents the narrative, in which he constructs the arguments for each chapter, that make this a must-read for anyone who has any interest in the events of 1984 and how they pertain to Sikhs. The chapters are each titled quite simply, and the subject matter in each chapter goes straight to point on that particular topic. The book is very easy to read and follow. The print and font and everything selected around the publishing of the actual book, it makes this really easy to just pick up and start reading at any point. There are a number of chapters that will be of key interest to lots of you, but I would like to point out the chapters that conclude the book, titled Conclusions and My Reflections, as being the most interesting for anyone who's read quite a lot on this chapter of recent Sikh current affairs. The appendices for this book alone make it worth having. The first appendix is the Declaration of Khalistan that was made in 1986. The second appendix is of the Anandpur Sahib resolution draft from 1973, which actually, funnily enough, is not really readily available in print form much. And the selected bibliography is quite limited, but again gives you a must-have books to read on this particular topic. I was at the launch of the book in London in 2014 and read it within 48 hours of it being released. Was very excited to have seen that this was now there. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have made as many waves as I thought it would, within the Sikh community certainly. And for that reason, I say that it was long overdue that we gave it an introduction on Cover to Cover. The book is readily available online and has to be in every single Sikh household if you have an interest in current affairs, which, let's face it, all of us should have. But we want to know what you think, so please leave us a comment below. Tell us what you think of Reflections on 1984 by Harjinder Singh. And of course, subscribe to Naujawani's YouTube channel to see more of Cover to Cover, our guide to the Sikh and Punjabi books that you need to read.